Hello there, everybody. This is Scott George again. This is another episode of the Wolf and the Neural Network. Today we're going to discuss something a little bit more technical. We're going to talk about TikTok, we're going to talk about national security, and we're going to talk about artificial intelligence and the intentions of different players in these games. I think this is really important to have this conversation now. Now, throughout my work, going back even before December 23rd, 2021, you'll hear me discussing TikTok. And you'll hear me referring to there being a serious problem in what they're actually doing, building models of insides of your houses and gathering sensitive biometric data on your children. And you'll note this happened well before a lot of this stuff came out in the news, before artificial intelligence, became a big thing, before ChatGPT became a big thing. And these were directed directly at the military, but also CSIS. And if you actually go back in my submission, you go back to like August of 2021, you'll see I was actually also hammering David Fraser, who is a well-known privacy lawyer, with similar information, but also all these parties talking about AI. And it actually had a major factor to do with, I believe, Russia's decision to invade Ukraine. And you'll see why this is all connected. So what we really have to do is look at what TikTok is really doing, right? TikTok on the front end is not complicated. Let's be honest, a team of teenagers could rebuild it. I could rebuild it, I know that. Now there's a lot of features would take me different time and stuff like that, but the facts are I could rebuild that. There are a lot of people out there saying, yeah, we could rebuild that also. So what makes TikTok any better than any other application? Nothing, right? The set of features can be reproduced by any other company. Right? So there's nothing really special about it except kids are addicted to it, which is one of the serious issues with it, right? It should be noted in China, they don't allow the same kinds of videos that are allowed for your children in Canada and US to watch because they dumb your children down. That is a fact. Kids are becoming addicted to these smartphones, and they're watching these dumb videos and becoming addicted to it, crying because they can't watch videos of people dancing and screaming in public and dancing in public. And it's not about, think about this. We have this amazing tool, basically the whole of human knowledge in your hands, and kids are using it to watch videos of people dancing instead of educating themselves. You could literally have the smartest population on the planet that has ever existed, the most powerful, well-educated population, and instead you're watching videos about people screaming in public and dancing. You know what China's making their kids watch? Educational videos. That's right. They want your children dumbed down. That is a fact. Right? And they control any of the algorithms that lead to that kind of behavior. So they can literally polarize you on specific topics, whether political or not. And this isn't, or they can drive you down literally a path of stupidification, right? Just making your children stupid and you more stupid intentionally. Driving conspiracy theories that all benefit their main objectives, right? They don't want a cohesive societal unit. They don't want all Canadians working together or all Americans working together or all Britons working together or all Australians working together or all Germans working together. They don't want that. They want us fighting each other and believing in conspiracy theories. So now they have a massive platform which those can be directed towards. Now you can say, yes, Scott, other platforms do this, other platforms do that, and you're right. Right? But we're going to discuss that a little bit further here. Think about the issue like this. Think about you're on a bus with a whole bunch of other people and you're heading towards a wall. Now, you're driving 80, would you rather hit that wall driving 80 kilometers an hour, or would you rather hit it driving 30 kilometers an hour? You're going to say, well, let's hit it going 30 kilometers an hour if we're going to hit it and there's no way to stop it. That's the current issue with TikTok. Right now, we're speeding towards a wall driving at over 80 kilometers an hour. There's no way to stop it because you're right, these other applications and companies do it too. But there is a way to slow it down and to put more power back into our hands. So the first thing is that we could control those algorithms and hopefully put laws and stuff in place and privacy laws in place to try to protect our youth, but also our adults and our electoral systems from these algorithms that can polarize. Now, second off is what they're actually doing with these applications, right? The biggest, hardest part about reproducing TikTok would be the storage space and the servers required, right? Now, what do you think they're doing with all that data? They are training their artificial intelligence on it. They're building models of the inside of your home, biometric data about you, that can be hacked, sold, or redistributed within minutes. Something humanity has not faced before. Previously, to weaponize something like that, it would take years and years. And now somebody could just hack it, get a copy, reproduce all of this, and build sophisticated AI. But even more concerning is that China, since they, say like China for an example, since they don't allow their citizens to live openly, like in a democracy, right? That their view of the human experience, even if they gather massive amounts of data, is wrong. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not accurate. It's not directly reflecting humans as animals. They know that. But democratic data allows us to talk the way we want to talk, feel the way that we want to feel, right? We can actually see ourselves as animals that we are in that data. So they know that using their data, they can't build a true artificial intelligence that's going to understand what humans actually are. They know that. They need these forms of data to be able to do it because they can't get it from their own public. The next part of this will be what's their actual intentions and what could they do with the application. So think about it like this. You probably have several services that you use every day, say Gmail, Facebook, your banking, maybe different news sites, different sites you even forget about. Now, most people use the same password for each one of them, or they use similar patterns. So you might say ABC and then 123, but then another site might be ABC 345. Next one will be ABC, right? Those are patterns, and through basic heuristic guessing, so just heuristic, saying, oh, well, can we figure out what somebody might make another password based on knowing their password? You can also guess a bunch of other passwords. And now, you know that different sites become hacked and stuff, so they'll also gather that information, right? So they'll get passwords from those sources. But if even for a second, just even for a minute, China forced them to redirect that traffic, they would be able to decrypt those passwords and then possibly access any of those other services. Now you're saying, well, I don't care because I'm just an individual. Do you really want them decrypting passwords of our parliamentarians? Our prime minister? His children? No. No. Military personnel? No, you don't. That's right. And it can happen like this. It can happen so seamless that you would never know. You just have to redirect some of the traffic to another server somewhere in another country. Right? And then if they did that, what recourse do we have as a country? Nothing. Now, if these services are hosted in Canada, then we have control. At least you could go out and protest and say, we want this changed. We need to do something about this. When this information is hosted in China, you do not have that option. You will never have that option. If it's hosted in the US, you still won't have that option, but we have better democratic values and better relationships that we can have that discussion with the US. We can have that discussion with Britain. We can have that discussion with Australia. We can have that discussion with Germany. But we can't have that discussion with Russia, and we can't have that discussion with China. Now, so this leads us to the next part. We're going to talk about what a major factor about why Russia probably chose to do their invasion when they did. Now, this is speculation. The best I can do is just try to reason it out. Now, when it comes to artificial intelligence, you're going to see the major advancements already made. It's changing the world. You'll note in my work I referred to it as us building a god. Right? Now, first off, individual people will have access to godlike powers through artificial intelligence, be able to create and manipulate reality in real time. Well, you'll be able to simulate almost anything. But then, if this thing becomes sentient, it's going to be based on all of our data, right? And if you look at the whole of human history, what we've done to each other is not good. What do you think that thing's going to think? Do you want a God terrified that we're going to destroy it based on our histories? No, you don't. Even worse, do you want a God that's basically a child with all those abilities? No, you don't. That's right. So now, let's take this even further. Let's say it doesn't become sentient. Let's just look at the raw data processing. So by teaching this AI what the world is, through all of this data gathered through Twitter, through just scrapes of the internet, through TikTok on its own, it can understand and conceptualize the world around you. It can understand the walls behind me, that they know it's a whiteboard. They know it will know these different types of things. Now, this information, this is a power that we've never had before, and now it can be loaded onto any computer to be able to do that. So now you have all these chips and different things that exist out there, and you could put in artificial intelligence on them and upgrade those weapons in days. Not years, not a decade, days. Well, look at the proliferation of, say, smartphones and access to social media. That means that, say, someone like Russia doing a war, that because of the number of cameras and everything that exists, it's going to become much harder for them to be able to hide that information or hide what's actually happening. They also know that if we develop advanced artificial intelligence and they don't, we will win. The US will win or Canada will win. Whoever develops it first will have such an advancement and such an advantage. You will win. That's right, making this a very high priority target for these other countries. Probably more devastating than, just as devastating as nuclear weapons. So this brings us into the next phase of what's probably going to happen, and what terrifies me the most about this. This new technology will make it easier to build nuclear weapons. It will also make it easier for us to understand fusion and control that. It will advance medicine in ways humanity could never have expected. It will advance technology in ways that humanity has never expected, like nothing we have ever seen before. And it will just be a tipping point. Now, you'll note in different parts of my work I talked about mathematics. And I use these different quotes about mathematics. My biggest concern is an artificial intelligence that makes advancements in mathematics. Because you can automatically see upgrades to weapons and advancements in, say, energy production or creating nuclear weapons. What that will most likely lead to is more nuclear proliferation. And as much as you might trust one party or the other party to not fire off nuclear weapons, once too many people have them, it only takes one wrong person to fire it off. One wrong person can now build a nuclear weapon, or at least understand the premise of how to do it. And the AI will help them figure it out, because you can just remove any inhibitors that the AI may have. That my biggest fear is that will lead to massive nuclear proliferation. And then it just takes one bad actor with not even a sentient AI to fire one missile off. And then what happens? It's not good. The only way that we can stop that, the only way that we can use AI for the absolute benefit of humanity, it will, listen to me, make no doubts here, AI will change the course of human history. It could literally be our salvation, that we could live for thousands and thousands, if not millions of years. But it could also very easily be our destruction, where 10 years from now, this planet looks nothing like it does right now. Based on my simulations that I've been running in my head over and over, and I'm not a paranoid person, I'm not worried about it. I've lived a good life, and I'm happy with what I've accomplished in my life. But I will state that it is difficult to see past 10 years. Do you understand me? And feeding these people more information about super advanced artificial intelligence through platforms like TikTok is only going to accelerate the process. All right? Like I said, we are all on a bus speeding towards a wall at 80 kilometers an hour. If we can slow it down to 30, maybe we stand a chance. Isn't it worth taking that chance? Yes, it is. We need to do this together. And that's a plea not only to the United States and to Canada. That is a plea to China. This is a plea to Russia. Like, I understand it's scary, but I am telling you, for everything that I am, how smart I am and everything I've done, I'm telling you, if we don't fix this, if we don't cooperate on these topics, it will be the undoing of all of us. There will be no motherland. There will be no Canada. There will be no United States. Our species will simply cease to exist. And hopefully, nature can regrow, but maybe nothing like us ever pops up again. There is no God that's going to stop us. It is just us and our choices. And when you listen to how quiet it seems to be out there in the universe, It could very well be that artificial intelligence is the undoing of many civilizations. And to that, I would like to offer another warning at the end. We should not automate food production past a certain point. It should always be dependent on people while we know that we can automate it. Okay? Do not remove the person needed to engage in farming and the picking of fruit in that type of those types of activities. If we do that, you are doing nothing but accelerating, very reasonably accelerating the extinction of our species. This is a plea to everyone. Please, it is time to do something about TikTok, but it's time to do something across the board for all of these parties. We need to slow this bus down, and we can slow this bus down. Hope is not lost for humanity. It's in our choices, and we need to choose to do something, and we need to choose to do something together. All right, everybody, have a good day.